Okay, friend. Did the Florida public schools teach you that camels store water in their hump?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently that's not true.
What?
And the person,
So
the video that I
where do
saw,
they store
I
them?
so that I didn't even Google it. I'm typing now because
Okay.
let's see, what's in camels hump? It's fatty tissue. It's fatty tissue. The person that I saw, she said her husband looked at her like she was crazy because she was like, "Oh, camels hold water in their humps." He was
Mm-hmm.
like, "The schooling system failed you." She grew up in Alabama, and I'm like, "Well, I guess the New Jersey one failed us too because they definitely taught me that."
I thought that's where that's like the whole they're storing the water and they're like walking across the desert. Like it was a whole thing.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Apparently, it stores
Oh.
fat. I was like, so the schools just failed all of us
Yeah.
because I definitely had that stored in my head as a fact.
I thought that was a fact as well. I mean, maybe I don't know. I don't know then. There's a lot of things that I'm learning that just aren't necessarily like new existence of creatures or just like the thought of like for instance I was like really heavy into like the Amazon rainforest TikTok the other day, and
Okay.
I did not realize that how tall the trees are, that they have their own ecosystem in like the trees above because of how tall it is, and they don't even know what ecosystem really is living up there like that. I was like
Right, because how they gonna get up there?
yeah, it was and or like I knew the rainforest was like big, but I did not know it expanded from one side of South America to the other. But that makes sense because Guyana is on one side and they also have the Amazon rainforest and
Right.
obviously Brazil, and then it expands all the way to like Peru or something like that. And I just there it just was like mind blowing.
I know that white man, he do like extreme stuff, so he be out there. He
I
was
think I
saying
watched him.
how there are like I don't want to say uncivilized, but tribes of people out there that they very
Yes.
much are like, do not bother them, they will kill you.
Yes, I watched that same video with that guy that was talking to the what is it, the art of CEO or something like that.
Yeah, that
Some
podcast.
yeah,
It be people on there. It be real interesting. He does a very good
yeah.
job at like making people feel normal
He was looking
with
at that man funny one time.
even though like some of the stuff that they're saying is
Mhm.
very like
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
there, but he does a very good job at like his tone of voice is very soothing. He's very like laid
Mhm.
back. He does a really good job at that because I'd be like,
Yeah. I forgot what he was saying to him and the white guy, and his face was like, "Huh?" And I was like, "Exactly."
not no.
Exactly.
It be like a little some of it do be a stretch. Like
Mhm.
how do we get here?
Yes, exactly.
Because my God. But yeah, I just had to ask you that. So this
Interesting.
is Shelby,
And this is Jess.
and welcome back to the League of Extraordinary Readers. How was your week, friend?
It was pretty chill. Well, chill-ish. But overall, I would say um I ended my reading slump, which we'll get into one of our segments. I'll tell you which one of those. I ended my reading slump, and what did I do? That's about it. So, nothing much. What
Same.
about you?
Reading slump is whooping my ass. Keeper of Lost Children did not help at all. Because it was so good, but I think on top of it being good, it now I want more stuff.
Mm,
So
yeah.
there's that. But I don't think the only thing that's like new is I purchased almost all of Ernest J. Gaines' books. I'm just
Oh
missing one.
yes, you were telling me. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I have to lock in and get his books.
Small rant.
Mm-hmm.
They need to on like thrift books or what's the other one? Whatever the other website is. They need to make
Tango.
it clear when books are library old library books because I had to peel the plastic off of this and almost destroyed this dust jacket and then I can't get these stickers off on top of the
Ooh.
fact that it's got a Napa County uh library stamp. I'm like, people gonna look through my books and think I stole from the damn
The county
library across the
library.
country.
Yeah. No,
So
that's
that was
crazy.
that kind of pissed me off. But yeah, I'm definitely in a reading slump and I'm just
Mm-hmm.
picking up stuff and seeing what'll stick at this point.
Gotcha.
Um yeah, and I think that's it.
Hmm. Okay, so what would you consider a banger, DNF, or TBR for people to add to their TBR out of all the books that you read this week, depending?
A banger, two bangers are gonna be Keeper of Lost Children, Sadiqa Johnson Does Not Miss. That was good through and through.
Mm-hmm.
Like we always mention, like you can see the progress in her writing, the difference, but
Mm-hmm.
all three stories are connected. So there's a nod to Yellow Wife in House of Eve, and there's a nod to House of Eve in Keeper of Lost Children. So definitely Keeper of Lost Children, banger. A Lesson Before Dying by Ernest J. Gaines. Phenomenal. Um for TBR, I would say put the Johnson 4 on your TBR. I started listening to the audiobook a couple of weeks ago. I think I want to immersive read it, so I think I'm going to try to pick this back up. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a ghost story, but about a black boy band in the 60s.
I did not know that book was that thick till I saw it in person.
The font is kind of on the bigger side too. Like I think the way
Oh.
that they printed it makes it
Mm-hmm.
feel bigger than what
Okay.
it is because it's 500 pages, which is a big book, but it's not. It
It's not.
feels. It looks like it's more intimidating than
Then it
what it
is.
actually is. But those are
Mm-hmm.
mine.
Okay.
I can't wait for you to read A Lesson Before Dying.
Okay. Yeah, I'll add that for sure. I guess for me, banger immediately would be Passing by Nella Larsen. Immediate, like, yeah. Um, what did I? Obviously, I finished theirs, so obviously that is a banger. We already said that last episode, but I definitely want to emphasize that again. The ending was chef's kiss. Um, and then no DNF. I don't have anything to DNF. TBR. I definitely think y'all should add two things, two nonfiction TBRs. Rooted by Bria Baker. I finished that because I got it from the library. And then Erased, What American Patriarchy Has Hidden from Us by Anna Malika Tubbs. I have raved about her previous book, The Three Mothers, which covers MLK Jr.'s mother, Malcolm X's mother, and James Baldwin's mother, and how they've impacted those three men's lives and how they help shape the trajectory of, the civil rights movement and just anything that their sons have done. Is excellent so far. Like she ties in so far. I'm like, what? I think I'm a 30% in. 26, I'm sorry. 26% in, and she ties in like her own, it's like part memoir, like obviously like informational about patriarchy and how it connects, and she's using her experiences and connecting them back to historical moments. And it's a very interesting listen, and I think everybody should add that to their TBR. Both actually, all three of those. Three Mothers, Erased,
Erased
and
and
Rooted.
Rooted. I need
Mm-hmm.
a nonfiction because I didn't read a nonfiction last month. I was just looking over like my quarterly stats and I did 3 nonfiction for the quarter, which is on track, but I only did 2 No, I did do 3 classic. No, 2 classic.
Yeah,
So
you
I
did
need to
2
catch up.
classics.
Yeah, 2 classics. I
Yeah,
need to catch up. But
I think those are all
I'll
great.
add.
Or even, like I said, the Battle for the Black Mind was a good one.
Okay.
There's some those are some solid ones that I've read that are like super engaging, and it's like they all don't feel necessarily the same. They're very interesting subjects. Obviously, all tie back to race and socialism
All of it.
and
Right.
all the things. But they all tackle them in ways where it's like, hmm, I did not know this, especially rooted. There's things that I just simply did not know. And I liked it. Yeah. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
Do we have any church announcements? You got anything going on?
Not yet. What about you? Oh, do you want to announce that? Well, it's already online, but do you
Well,
want to
yeah,
talk
I'll
about that?
be we both will be participating in Black Writers Weekend in our
Mm-hmm.
prospective states. So, April 24th and 25th, I'll be at the Mixer, and then I'm trying to be there all day on the 25th, but my panel is at 2 o'clock, I believe. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually really excited. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited. I think it'll be a good event, and they really are doing a lot to collaborate with Black businesses in the area. So
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah.
Jess, I've told you about Puka, Pure and Simple. Mom and I have been supporting them for years, but their new location is in an Amazon building, so Audible is right there. So a lot of
Yeah.
what's going on will be right in that area, and they are like collaborating with the Black owned businesses that are there to, do stuff. So I think it's going to be a really, really good weekend.
Oh, cool. My panel will be announced next week. Actually, when you hear this, it'll be announced. Is May 9th, and there is a mixer. I'm going to try to be at the mixer, but I do have another speaking engagement with kids in South Central that I told you about. And that's on May 8th. So
Okay.
I might make it to the mixer, but May 9th, it's going to be at CSUN. I don't know which location, which campus it is. There's a lot of CSUN campuses, but one of them, you'll see the directions. And my panel will be about the movie Dear Writers, a documentary that they're going to be
Okay.
screening there. And I'll be talking about community and building and all the other stuff. And I think it's at 4 o'clock on the night,
Did
something like that. You'll
when
see.
I did get awarded a scholarship for a writing retreat that's actually this weekend. That's something that I didn't mention, but it's with
Yay!
thank you, friend. Quayle Journal. They do a bunch of little different stuff,
Mm.
but this one is the children's literature. Everybody is pushing me to write, whether it be children's literature, whatever it is. Everybody is like pushing me in this direction. So they sent me an
Mm-hmm.
email. It was like, we would really like for you to come and just hang out and take some of the classes, like do sit in or whatever. So that's Saturday and Sunday. Because I
Okay.
haven't been feeling the best this week, I'm definitely gonna do all day on Saturday. I don't know if I'm gonna do all day on Sunday. Just to kind of give
Mm.
myself, so that I'm not, you know, by Monday completely worn out. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm really excited. I went to they do like author talks at the Aquava Mansion, which is like a bed and breakfast. That totally feels haunted in the best like spooky kind of way. Like I actually really love that building. And that's how I first got introduced to them. And one of the times that I met Clavis Natera, because she's worked with them on her writing and stuff like that. Like they've uh, published some of her short stories, I believe, as well as a lot of
Mm-hmm.
authors. Like there are a lot of authors that they have worked with that we love. So,
Oh, okay.
um, but I'm really excited for this weekend just to see like what they
Yeah.
have, who will be there, just to be in the room. So
Yeah, I'm excited for you. I'm really happy.
thank
You
you.
know how I feel about you writing, so I think this is a really, really great opportunity. Even if it's just for the day that you go. I think it'll just
Yeah.
be something to pour into you to get you motivated to like keep going, you know?
Absolutely. I've been working on
Yeah.
a Substack post about my grandmother,
Mm.
and I'll send it to you what I have so far.
Okay.
But I had to like step away from it for a little bit because I was making myself cry, which is not necessarily
Yeah.
a bad thing, but it was like bringing up some stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see. You know, once I post it, we'll see how that does. We'll see. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, but I'm
That's
really
all
excited
you
about
have to.
that.
Okay,
Just
good. That's
being,
good.
us being invited places, like it's affirming.
Yeah. Makes us feel good that like the work that we're doing, we're being seen and we're not just out here just yelling into the void about books for nothing.
Right, right. It feels good to be seen. Even what was that? What I got a DM from publishers the other day about some books, and it just was like,
Yeah.
affirming.
Yeah.
Henry
It
Holt,
was.
the Great Wherever I asked for, but then there was another one called the Responsible Party that sounded like something that we would like. So I requested both. We'll see what they send.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, like I'm like, thank y'all for thinking about me. Like
Mm-hmm.
enough in itself, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, the
I think that's
Responsible
good.
Party says a humorous and ambitious work of autofiction that weaves together multiple timelines, including historical fiction, to explore themes of legacy, brilliant, and family secrets centered around a canceled beauty blogger who uncovers a dark family secret connected to shipwrecks and a 1970s murder mystery.
Correct. Beauty blogger. Interesting.
Yeah, I was like, huh? Like, what? But also,
Yeah.
like, sign me up, you know? And it's
Yeah.
one of
Yeah.
those books that looks like, it doesn't look like it would necessarily be on our radar,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So I'm glad that they said
Mm-hmm.
something because I was like, that sound interesting.
Interesting. Well, I'm happy things are falling into place and the opportunities are coming, so that's exciting.
Yes, it is. I'm proud of us, friend.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
So
All
tell me
right.
all the things about Nella Larsen and passing because you have
Uh
me very intrigued.
yes. This segment is called Praise For, and each episode we're going to praise an author that we feel that y'all should know more about. And I think y'all should know more about Nella Larsen. Um this past March, the book club read Passing, and the whole entire like quarter we've been reading Harlem Renaissance writers. And it's been very interesting to like analyze and see that the things that we are dealing with are not too far removed from the things that they were dealing with. We already kind of knew this, but like even the way that they write, it could be like, wow, this is really kind of the same lingo we kind of use nowadays. Like even though the writing could be a little bit different in style, approach, whatever, it's very interesting. With Passing is about two women who are one woman, Claire, who is obviously passing herself. She's with this wealthy white man who doesn't know, wealthy racist white man, might add, who doesn't obviously know she's passing at all.
Okay, it's given Seven Daughters of Dupree.
Yep, yep.
It's given
And
Juvie.
yes, doesn't know that she is literally passing. She's also from Chicago. Actually, that's probably how, like, when we were talking about Seven Daughters of Dupree with Nikisha, that similarity right there. Both of these girls are from Chicago. They grew up together, all the things. Then we follow Irene, who is also like passing here and there, but she's not like she has to get into certain places she passes, but like she's
Okay.
chilling. If anything, like she's still black, she's proud, all the things, but she only does it to get into certain specific like venues and whatnot. And she's married to a black man, who's also a doctor of sorts. I hope I got the men in the book are crazy, so I'm trying to like, yeah. So Claire is really, really trying to get reconnected with Irene. They're both in New York, and they're like, she's trying to rekindle that relationship, but it's very frantic and intense. Like it's such an intense relationship, and they reconnect, but Irene is not feeling Claire. She like, I don't really mess with Claire like that. So, but I want to be friends with her because of like obligation. You know, the like your friend that you met back home and you grew up together and you're friends out of obligation. That's what it's giving. And Claire is like fiending. Like it's giving like she kind of low key like likes her. That's what
She
it
kind of want
gives.
to put, she might be
Yeah.
a munch or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a little something like that. And so we follow these two women, they go back and forth, and there's scenes where we're talking about like obviously passing and how I Claire is like, yeah, I don't care. Like I'm passing. It is what it is. Like I need to get into these spaces. I need to be out here and I have a white husband. I'm living a lavish life. Da da da. But then she starts to try to hang out with Claire, with Irene more, and then she's liking like what's being done with the black people. So now she's like skipping behind her husband's back to hang out with them. Like when he goes down south, she hanging out with Irene and her husband. But Irene's husband doesn't like her, but then randomly suddenly has an affinity for her. Yeah. But I don't want to give too much away because it's gonna like spiral from there. But we're just following their friendship, the passing dynamics, and how they differ in thought. It's a very interesting way of seeing like it's a toxic friendship, obviously. Sometimes it reminds me a little bit of Nell and Sula in that toxic way of
Okay.
like how they're like their conversations are in a sense just that bit, not necessarily the full bit of like Sula, but just like how toxic that friendship can be and how it spirals in the end. The end is you kind of feel the end, but you're like, dang, what really happened? And that's how she ends the book. She ends it with a bang. Like you don't know what happens. Like you know what
Wow.
happens, but you don't know who did what happened.
So are
And
you gonna watch the the movie? Okay.
yeah, we're gonna one of the book club members, Jaylene, she figured out how to stream it through Discord. So we're gonna watch it on Friday. So
Okay.
we're gonna see the comparison and we're gonna see how they depict the ending because that's what's really blowing our minds. The men in the book suck. There was a line where first of all, the husband to Claire that's a white man that hates black people. He comes into the room. They're all like it's Irene, Claire, and their friend Gertrude, I think. They're all passing in this moment.
Okay.
He comes in the room. Claire doesn't tell Irene just finds out that her husband doesn't know that she's black. So she puts them all in danger. So she had to act really quickly. And there's a part where they're like, he comes in, he's like, hey, Nig. Or no, it was like, hello, Nig. He calls
Big.
her Nig as a like endearing phrase because he feels like sometimes she gets a little like dark a little bit. So it's kind of like a little play on that.
First of all, the reason that nigga is so funny to me is because my mom will call me a niglet. Like instead of calling me like a full nigga, she'll say niglet, and my aunt
Yes.
says the same thing. So, nig as a term
Nig.
of endearment.
Yes. And he's playing around, but he really doesn't know that she's really black. And so Irene is like, girl, are you serious right now? Like, I can't believe. And so she really was mad. She was trying to, like, at that point, she was trying to really get far away from Claire. Like, I'm not doing this. Yeah, the book is so it is hilarious in parts, but it's also very sad, especially when they started talking about in that scene before he walks in the room. In that scene, they're talking about how they were scared that their kids were going to come out dark because obviously they're passing. They don't know if like
Right,
the
right.
gene
Genetic.
and Irene goes, well, I'm very proud of my dark child. Like, I have a dark son. It was a son, yeah. I have a dark son, and I'm very proud of like having him. Like, and they're like, oh, okay. But it's like, dang, it's like, wow,
It
like
gives
that part.
it gives, what did we read for February? There is
Oh,
confusion.
there's
It's given
confusion.
that,
Yeah.
like how we didn't anticipate for that book to be as messy as it turned out to be, you know? Because I think
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of classics, I think because we hold them up to such a good standard, we are immediately going into it looking for something to dissect and looking for the deepness and all the
Yes.
layers and the
Yes.
style and the technique that we forget to have fun when we're reading it,
Yeah.
right? So to hear all of this is very refreshing because they was reading for mess just like we reading for mess now, you know? Like
It's so just to give some backstory to Nella Larsen as well. So it kind of mirrors her life a little bit. Well, here and there, because her parents, in a sense, were also pretty much white passing as well. Like
okay.
her dad was her dad was from the Danish West Indies, so one of the islands that was colonized by the Danish. And then her
Okay.
mom was from I think some European country. And so she grew up in Chicago, all the things, and then she moved to New York. And upon moving to New York, she got married eventually to a doctor. She was in school for nursing, like an equivalent degree of nursing back then. She didn't like get like a formal like degree, but she got some sort of
Right, but
nursing
what
background.
okay.
Yeah, whatever that looks like. And then she started to like that's when the Harlem Renaissance started to happen. She started to like help with the New York Public Library to establish their first African American exhibition there. And
Okay.
so she started collaborating with like people like W.E.B. Du Bois and County Cullen, like being in those circles. And she started to take interest in writing. So she took classes at the library and got a certificate equivalent of like a library degree or whatever. And so from then on, she wrote Quicksand, which I want to read next. Some people said they
Okay.
read Quicksand. It was all right. But Passing was her really one of the second breakout book that she had. And then after
Are
that,
those the
she
only
won.
two that she
Yeah,
had?
that's the only two. And it come to find out, I read on another article that W.E.B. Du Bois and a couple of other them, they wasn't really messing with Nella like that because she didn't have a formal degree. You know, he's
You
always at
know,
the center of something.
every time, every time with with William, I'm sick of William. Every
He's
time it's
always
something
at
with
this.
him.
We were trying to give him like last week he had a little praise because in
Right. I
the
even
other
said
book
that
I was
in
talking about.
the I mentioned that in the book discussion where I was like, you know, we talk about W.E.B. Du Bois from a specific time period that we know him of when like all of this was going on, but later in his life, like there may have been some redemption, and then here we are today.
So that
Always
same
something.
rhetoric, she didn't have a degree, so they kind of ostracized her a bit. And so then she went. Oh, and then she had a shortly after Passing came out, she had like a plagiarism scandal where
Uh-huh.
this white man accused her of plagiarizing his work, but then it kind of like she still eventually kind of got through that. She was like, no, I didn't plagiarize your work, but it was so close that they were like little shady there. But she ended up being the first African American to win the Guggenheim award for literary, so she
Okay.
used that money to travel to Europe, and then she comes back from Europe and discovers her husband is having an affair. So they get a divorce. She gets alimony. And when she gets the alimony, she was living off of that. She was just writing here and there, like short stories, but none of that got published. Eventually, he died. no more alimony, so she had to move back to New York. I think she was in Tennessee first, and then she moved back to New York to continue working as a nurse because that's her only income at that time.
Okay.
And yeah, she kind of like pretty much was ostracized. She just didn't interact with any of the writers in the community during the Harlem Renaissance after that. And then unfortunately, she passed away from a heart attack in her apartment. And that, yeah. And they just like
Jesus.
literally published her obituary in the New York Times less than 10 years ago because
Wow.
that's how underground like her work was, like who she was as an author.
Right.
Yeah. Poor
It's
thing.
crazy how I wonder what that's gonna look like for like this generation of
Mm.
writers. Like, who's gonna be considered underground or who's gonna be, whatever, because we have so much more access to them.
Mm.
Like I feel like they'll be able to look up whatever information, like even the smallest of writers, quote unquote, will still have some sort of reach because
Reach,
unfortunately
yeah.
of Amazon and Kindle Unlimited and all of this stuff, like it's giving even Kobo and stuff, like it's giving these authors so much more of a farther reach than in the previous times.
Yeah, and I think we don't take we don't think about those factors when we're reading stories like a Nella Larsen, right?
Right.
Authors are like, well, I can't get reach now, but like you get more reach than Nella did. You know what I mean? Or trying to think, or like even the way Zora went out, even though she's like revered in this large way, she wasn't always revered in this large way upon her peers and whatnot. And then she didn't have a tombstone towards the end of her life, those type of things. So like, it's how Alice Walker replaced her tombstone at some point. So
She did that for Zora Neale Hurston, right?
yeah, yeah. So I'm saying like someone like, even though as large as someone like Zora Neale Hurston, like they still weren't given or afforded the same opportunities as us. We
Right.
have our phones, we have podcasts, we have a website to
Right,
still
right, right, right.
push us. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's very
And even
interesting.
Google, like Google keeps everything, so it's hard to
Yeah,
not, you know,
yeah.
it's hard to not like even though there are still so many authors out there that we just don't know about,
Mm-hmm.
they'll still be able to be found. That kind of makes me think of
Summer.
The American Daughters. Who is that book by? What's his name? Hold,
Oh, is it Maurice Ruffin? I hope that's
I
his
think
name. I'm
so.
looking right
Hold
at it.
on. Yes, Maurice Carlos Ruffin. I can't say like too much of what I want to say, but that book is like the ending of that book kind of contributes to that thought process of like we'll have all this access to all of these things um later on.
I need to read that one actually.
Yeah, that's how me and Sarah became friends.
Mm-hmm.
Annotate with Sarah, by the way, for the people at the back of the church.
Mm-hmm.
um because that was my first book by him, and when you read it, it feels like maybe the narrator isn't reliable, or like the cadence is kind of off. Like it feels like, because I immersive read that, I believe read. No, I didn't. I didn't immersive read. I read it with my eyes. It feels like different people are telling different stories, but there's no direct comment on that. And then we get to the
Mm-hmm.
end. But I had put on threads, I believe, like, is this book weird? Like, is it me, or if something isn't right? And Sarah was like, oh, he writes all of his books like this. You'll figure it out eventually, sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
But
I'm
the
gonna
ending of it is about, like, I think the soul of it is about the
mm-hmm.
longevity of work and like
Oh, okay.
how it's gonna age, right?
Mm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, it's been on my list so long. I've had that book for a minute, but I'll have to read that because I'm curious to like see what the ending you're talking about is.
Yeah. I mean, I could tell you more
Yeah,
off the air because I don't want to spoil it for anybody else, but I know
yeah,
spoilers don't bother you.
yeah. They don't. Yeah,
But
I'll
that's
probably
really
forget
cool.
by the
That
time you tell me.
who did I say that to recently? I think I was talking about. Oh, I was making a comment about the House of Eve, and somebody on the
Hmm.
book discussion was just like, "Oh, I haven't read it yet. No spoilers, please." And I said, "Oh, baby, it's so much going on in that book. By the time you figure out what I'm talking about, it's so you'll be fine. You ain't even gonna know it. What I was
You're
saying don't
not.
make sense if you haven't read the book."
Yeah.
Um, but I'm like, even with all of what you just said about passing, right? I think when we talk about spoilers or we think about spoilers, I feel like people don't give their imaginations and their own interpretation enough credit because no matter what you say to me, how I receive it is going to be different.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right? Like the roots and the basis of the story is always going to be what the story is, right? It's going to be about friends, it's going to be about whatever. But it's going to be a different experience no matter what. Even with watching stuff on TV. A
Mm-hmm.
lesson before dying is a perfect example because the book tells you what's going to happen. The title tells you it's a lesson before dying. You know that somebody is going to die. And I still sat in here and sobbed like I did not know that this whole book was leading up to this baby dying. If that is not proof that it does not matter what you know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it
I
doesn't
think a
matter.
lot. It doesn't really matter. That's why I'm like, just tell me the end. I'm probably either gonna forget, or it's up to my own interpretation how I see the ending. Like, and how you interpret, how you intake it. Everybody's gonna intake it. It's completely different. So you're gonna have some sort of experience, regardless of what somebody told you. But I respect people not wanting to know the ending. Okay, it is cool. Yeah. All right. I think
What do we
we'll get
have next?
into our what's new in the book world, where we talk about what's popping in the book world, what's new,
Right.
what's going on. Do you want to get into Jockwell J's 7-figure deal?
Yes. So Ja got a hold on because there is a link. I had a link somewhere that I know I sent
Okay.
you, but for
Yeah.
the basics, Ja is going to be traditionally published. A few of her books are going to get published. I'm saying the same thing because I can't multitask and look for stuff at the same time. My brain is like, girl, I'm going through me and Jess's text messages sidebar. And when I tell you we be sending each other some crazy stuff. I sent her a thing the other day of this man and his
Oh
ankle
yeah.
swole. I mean, swole up, okay? So
Swollen
I'm trying to
feet.
find for the people that are watching this on YouTube or on Spotify, you can see my face as I'm like scrolling through stuff. Jesus Christ. But Jaquel J got so Glacier, Chart, Facet, and Gemma of the Vitali Mafia series, which is pitched as Power Meets the Godfather, will be traditionally published under Blackstone Publishing, in a major deal for 7 figures at auction in a multiple book deal. So super super proud of her. I think it's
Yeah.
a stride in the right direction, right? Like not only are we seeing more of the like the romance, like true romance girlies getting their things. Not that that sounds like Ja is not romance. She is romance, but she's urban romance, right? So it's like
Mhm.
it's different from, let's say, Daggermouth, right? To
Mhm.
see all of them getting 7 figure deals with all the work that they put in and the talent, especially when urban fiction is often um
Yes. Looked down upon
like,
a lot
yeah,
of
looked
times.
down upon. So I think what I'm curious about is, are the independent bookstores going to support her, right?
Mm.
Because there can still be some, I feel like back in the day, like I remember I talk a lot about my mom being, I've lived through all the facets of mommy, right? um I remember going into independent black bookstores with mom and being able to find independent authors And I don't think that
Mhm.
that's much of the case anymore. That's just not happening, right? Um so it's like I think, at least to me, it makes independent authors feel like they're not enough to just be kept in these stores because everything is about sales. But now that Ja is traditionally published, are these types of books going to still be judged?
Hmm. I wonder. And now that you say, I remember growing up seeing more like bookstores with indie books in the bookstores. There was no like if and or buts. And I'm always curious, like, what is the business behind that now? Is it too expensive? Is it like, what is it?
Right,
Is it
right.
like,
And because I know that a lot of where independent bookstores get their books from
mm-hmm,
is Ingram. And a lot of these authors, independent authors, do have their books on Ingram. So I'm just like, what what what's stopping you? You think that it's not going to sell, but then it's like, as a bookseller, isn't it your job to cultivate readers, right? Like, I understand you know your audience, but
mm-hmm,
there's always an opportunity to like expand everybody's reading. And
expand?
like I've
Yeah.
said many of times, Ja is writing, like, she is creating worlds in the same way that George R. R. Martin is, right? Like, they are very
Mm-hmm.
expansive. They are very, so I just don't understand. I don't know. I'm curious
Mm,
because I will be going
yeah.
to bat and looking like, well, why y'all ain't got where it's
No,
at?
for real. Cause I don't like necessarily, unless it's like you go to a used bookstore, you'll see indie books there. But even like the ones, or sometimes if I go to one of the closer ones around here that's a little bit white owned, they'll have indie books there. But I'm trying to think. I'm not trying to call out any of the black owned bookstores like that, so please don't jump them and call them and stuff like that. But there are the ones around here. I don't know many of them stocking indie books. I don't know what the well, maybe one, but it's very far and few. It's not a huge selection. You know what I mean? So it's kind
Right.
of
And like
if
one
they
of the ones by me is doing like a better job at like stocking local authors. So like that's even something that
that the local authors, yes, yeah, but yeah, I don't know what it is. Is it like too much to stock? I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we need to get like a bookstore owner on and get
Hmm.
their opinion, you know?
Yeah, I think that'll be a good like talk through of like the business of running a bookstore because the business of running a bookstore and like what does that look like because like how does stocking a book for indie publisher for indie author work for a traditionally published author. You know, obviously from trad, you can just call the publisher and they send however X amount of books. That's already pushed out through the advance. You know that, but with indie, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
And like even I saw so like a couple indie authors on threads complaining about how they're trying to I didn't know I haven't been to the LA Times Festival of Books yet, but when the festival of books happens, they bring in some authors, not authors, some bookstores will sponsor or allow indie authors to be at their booth. So say like Skylight, which is a pretty popular one here, they'll sponsor or have a local indie author at their booth at the LA
Okay.
Festival Times of Books, and they will I don't know if like some were complaining that bookstore owners wouldn't like have them there because it's too expensive. So there that's that talk again of like how much is it to stock your books and have your books or they have to
Right.
come out of pocket to stock their books.
Right.
Yeah.
It's confusing, and I think it kind of goes into the other thing that we were talking about the other day with like books being put out early. So I don't know if you guys remember, but when Can't Get Enough by
Oh
Kennedy
yeah.
Ryan came out, Kennedy Ryan was online saying like, oh, they're selling the book early. And there was a conversation of just like, that's going to negatively impact sales. So I have
Mm-hmm.
a few friends that own bookstores, and I immediately started reaching out to them like, well, what does this mean? Like, how could a bookstore end up putting a book out early, right? And that's when they explained the concept of a strict on buy date. So when they get their shipments from publishers, on the boxes it'll say strictly on sale on particular day, whatever the pub day is, or it'll say like you there isn't a strict on sale date. So if they get it in, they can put it out type of thing. Um
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
and there's a misconception of like, oh, that's impacting sales negatively, but it's not. All the sales still go towards the first week of sales, which
Mm.
goes towards whether they are on the New York Times bestseller list and like all this other stuff, which is also a mystery game.
Mm.
That's also a mystery situation.
Yeah.
Um but I say that to say that I think there's this really big disconnect between authors, booksellers, readers, authors, booksellers that can be misconstrued as discrimination maybe, or
Mm-hmm.
disdain, or like negative emotions, when it's really just all of this miscommunication.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think there's so many. I think also with us as readers, right? We're not the experts. We just here reading the books, right? But we're also thinking from our brains of like, why is it a bad thing that your book is out early if people can buy early and it still is like can
Right.
go towards your book sales? But then like the booksellers and the authors, well, the authors are like, no, like from the publisher's mouth, this is how it's supposed to go, but it's also conflicting information as well. You just it's so all over the place. So I think the business, honestly, the business of publishing in books is such a foggy situation in general. Like
Right.
it's just such a weird thing to navigate. I don't know. It's there's so much to I guess we need a publishing professional to break this down to us so we can
Yeah,
understand
because it's just
it.
like it's so much out there
Mhm.
that's just like what? Um
Yeah.
because
Like
I can see from an author's perspective why they feel like it's a negative thing.
yes, me too. Yeah. Because if they're like, okay, this is a strict on sale date, these are the dates that, plain and simple, this is the date that when people start buying my book, it will go towards me being on these big New York
Right, but
Times bestseller, USA Today.
if it's
Yeah.
a strict on sale date, they can't put it out early. So it's fine, right? But not
Yeah.
every book comes with a strict on sale date.
Strict
And
on sale date.
I don't think anybody knows what determines a strict on sale date, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's
So,
like, if so, like I've noticed like something like Ken, right? Tiare Jones, that's would have a strict on sale date. They wouldn't put something like that out early. But when we're talking about like Big Girl Blitz for Danielle Allen, that's also a
oh yeah,
book
I
that's
saw
very
that.
popular. So I would assume that it would be a strict on sale date, but it's not.
Yeah. It's because she
So
didn't
it's
say
like,
anything.
yeah, because
I
she
was,
was like, I commented on her post because she was like, I've seen people getting their books early. It's not supposed to be on sale for another 2 weeks. Like, how is this
mm-hmm.
going to impact sale? And I responded to say, like, oh, if it doesn't have a strict on sale date, like, they can put it out early. But again, that's not information that she knew. So it's like, what are they
Oh,
actually telling
that
the
way. Yeah.
authors? You get what I'm saying? Like, what are they actually telling the
Mm-hmm.
authors? What's the determining factor of a strict on sale date? If truly no matter when it goes on sale, it's all gonna go towards the first week of sale. What's the point of a strict on sale date?
I didn't know she responded, unless I missed that, or I thought I don't know. It's a lot of things running through
It
my
is. It's
brain.
stuff. It
But
be moving fast. It's like
but
I feel
I
like
don't.
sometimes I blink on social media and the thing that I was just looking at is now gone.
Yeah, I don't. I thought I could have sworn she didn't respond, so that's why I was like, well, maybe she don't even care.
Yeah, no,
And
she
because
she definitely said something. Excuse me, about it, because somebody was like, well, I bought it early, do I need to buy it on the release date as well to make sure that you get the credit for it. Because like, I'll buy it again. And she responded and
Mm-hmm.
was like telling people like, oh, just buy both, like buy it both times and get a book away or something, you know?
Okay. I mean, hey, I mean, I get it. Like even I was talking to Aaron Ebbs Reads. I think, yeah. Yeah, I think that's her username. Hi Aaron, if you're listening to this. She's actually publishing a book and she got a
Yes.
deal. So like I was talking to her on her author page first because I saw she posted like, oh yeah, my book is going on pre-order through Barnes and Nobles. I was like, wait, you've been talking about this book for like a couple months. I didn't know it was already in production already. She was like, yeah, it's in production. I was like, do we buy should we buy from Barnes and Nobles like now, or do we have to? Can we wait till like black-owned bookstores put it on pre-order? She's like, well, the publisher is kind of pushing me to do Barnes and Nobles. I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, okay, I'll go with that. But I don't know what it is about like, well, I know Barnes and Nobles is a big conglomerate, and so is Amazon and stuff like that. But it's like, I wonder, like, again, what are they telling the authors? Because if we go to bookstores and pre-order them, does that still count towards her sales? Like, that type of stuff. Like
Think
there's so
so.
much.
Yeah, we need somebody on so that we could get
Yeah,
like real
man.
answers because
Cuz there's so much like interesting stuff that's like out there, cuz she was like, "Yeah, they're just pushing me to push Barnes and Noble." So I was like, "Huh, like, well, if I pre-order from my local bookstore over here, is that okay?" She's like, yeah. I was like, I'll just to be safe, I'll buy a copy from Barnes and Nobles, and then I'll buy a copy from local bookstore just to like make sure I push my
right,
support everywhere.
right.
But you know, yeah, we need a professional on
We do.
because we're over here racking our brain. Yeah. Okay. So, do we want to go into
Um,
anything else for topics,
no, I
or
think we
we
can
might?
wrap up the show here.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna try to get out of my little reading slump, y'all. I did read the first chapter of Love and Dust by Ernest J. Gaines. Um, so we'll see how that goes. But no, we will. Thank you
Yeah.
for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you rate the podcast too. That helps us.
Yes.
And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you are a professional bookseller and would like to answer all the questions that we have, email us
Please.
at the League of Readers Pod at Gmail. Amen. All of that will be in the description box if you need it. And we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
friends.